Welcome to another episode of The Quote Room, where words wake minds. This is a space where we slow life down long enough to actually hear ourselves think. Today's conversation is about time, creativity, and something we don't question enough. The idea that music, especially rap music, has an expiration date. My guest is from Jacksonville, Florida. He's acted in films, lived real chapters of life, and now, at 50, he's stepping fully into music, not to chase youth, but to challenge a belief. Novacane X, I appreciate you being here.
Amen. Thank you for having me here for real. I appreciate the space and the conversation.
When people hear the phrase 50-year-old rapper, the reaction usually isn't curiosity, it's dismissal. There's this idea that rap is a young man's game, even though we expect wisdom to come with age. So here's my question. Is wisdom really about age? Or is it about experience, learning, and growth? And when you hear 50-year-old rapper, what does that mean to you?
Age by itself doesn't bring wisdom, it just means time passed. Real wisdom comes from learning, from paying attention to what life is teaching you, not just surviving through it, because some people grow older but never really grow. They repeat the same thoughts, the same fears, the same reactions, just in older bodies. And then there are people who let life work on them. That's where wisdom comes from. There are a lot of young artists right now who are extremely talented. The creativity is real, the energy is real. What I question is what gets amplified. When you look at the mainstream, violence, sex, drugs, destruction get pushed the hardest. Not because that's all black artists are capable of, but because that's what gets funded. And as artists get older, something changes. You stop glamorizing pain and start understanding consequences. So when someone hears 50-year-old rapper and feels uncomfortable, it's not really about age, it's about perspective. Because rap doesn't lose power when it matures, it gains dimension.
That idea of dimension matters, because it speaks to growth, not decline. So building on that, what does time give an artist that raw talent alone never can?
Time gives you discernment, because talent can exist without direction. It can be loud and still be lost. Time forces you to slow down long enough to start noticing patterns, not just in the industry, but in yourself. You start seeing how certain emotions keep repeating, how the same decisions lead to the same outcomes. Time teaches restraint. It teaches you when to speak, and when silence actually carries more weight. Talent wants to be seen. Time teaches you how to see yourself. That's where depth comes from. That's where clarity comes from. And that's when the music stops being impressive and starts being intentional.
That kind of clarity usually comes from environment. You grew up in Jacksonville, in a hood called The Bottom. How did growing up in that environment shape you into the well-rounded individual you are now and influence your music?
The hood teaches you awareness before it ever teaches you dreams. Before you learn what you want to be, you learn how to survive. You learn how to read faces, how to feel a room before you step into it. You learn early that emotions aren't always safe to show, so you figure out how to manage them instead, and that sharpens your perception. Growing up in Duval, you learn cause and effect fast. Every move matters. People call it trauma, but it's also training. You learn resilience. You learn endurance. I didn't just survive that environment, I watched it, I studied it, and that's what makes me well-rounded. That's why my music doesn't just tell stories, it understands them.
That awareness changes how you see culture itself. Why do you think rap music, especially in the black community, gets treated like something that should age out?
Because wisdom disrupts repetition. Youth reflects culture. Wisdom questions it. A younger artist often captures the emotion of the moment. A seasoned artist starts asking why that emotion exists and why it keeps coming back. And that can be uncomfortable. Our culture has been conditioned to treat rap like it has to stay urgent, more reaction than reflection. So instead of letting artists evolve, we replace them. But replacement isn't growth, it's avoidance. Other cultures allow their artists to age into elders, into historians, into teachers. We haven't fully created that space yet. And wisdom doesn't weaken rap music, it deepens it.
That broader awareness is what led you outside familiar spaces. Tengo El Don was a collaboration with artists from the Dominican Republic. Why was it important for you to step outside your usual cultural space and build with artists from the DR?
Because pain doesn't have a passport. I didn't go outside my culture looking for a sound. I went looking for connection. The stories were different, but the emotions were identical. Struggle sounds the same everywhere. Hope moves the same everywhere. Working with artists from the Dominican Republic reminded me that the Black experience is global, and I wanted to stand beside that. Not borrow it, not imitate it, but honor it. That collaboration came from respect, not strategy.
Before we move on, as a shout out to the Dominican Republic, is it possible for you to say what you just shared in Spanish? Or did you pick up any Spanish while you were there?
Porque el dolor no tiene pasaporte. No salí de mi cultura buscando un sonido. Salí buscando conexión. Las historias eran diferentes, pero las emociones eran iguales. La lucha suena igual en todas partes. La esperanza se mueve igual en todas partes. Trabajar con artistas de la República Dominicana me recordó que la experiencia negra es global. Quería pararme a su lado, no tomar prestado, no imitar, sino honrar. Esa colaboración vino del respeto, no de la estrategia.
I just want to pause for a second, because that was powerful. Not just saying it, but honoring it in the language, the culture, the spirit. That meant something. When everything quiets down, no numbers, no platforms, no opinions, what do you want your work to remind people of?
I want my work to remind people that everybody goes through something. Everybody experiences pain, loss, confusion, disappointment. But you can't let what you've been through turn you into something you're not. Those experiences aren't here to break you. They're here to shape you, define you, and ultimately make you better. One of the biggest lessons I had to learn was that you really have to love yourself first. Because if you don't love yourself, you can't genuinely give love to anyone else. That's the core of my music now. This feels like a defining moment for me, learning how to love myself and putting that truth into the music. So when people hear my songs, they're not just hearing lyrics, they're hearing my journey. There was a time when I gave everything to others. I tried to be what was acceptable, what was popular, what people wanted me to be. But now in this era, as a more grounded man, it's about honoring myself. It's about my legacy, about self-love, about knowing who I am and standing in that fully. That's what the music represents. That's what I want it to live on as.
That brings us to the record we've been talking about, Tengo el Don, Novacane X. I'll give you the honors of introducing the song and the video.
Before we move forward, I want to honor my grandmother, Mary Davis, who recently passed away. She's always been an inspiration behind my music, but even more now, her love and strength live on in everything I create. And I also want to give an honorable shout out to my producer, King Travelite, the primary producer on my album and one of the most talented producers out right now. Much love. Now let me bring in the record. This is Tengo el Don Remix by KV Master, featuring Novacane X, Michelito Estilo, Mini Bloke, and Versatile Universal. This record came from connection. What started as music turned into family love. Now, let's run it.
Yeah, Novacane X. My team is unstoppable, plus we do the impossible. Don't pose a possible threat if you ain't close to the hospital. Stumbled a couple times, now I shine, it's logical. Determination, ambition, flipping over the obstacles. Loyalty and respect, nothing less if I rock with you. Don't matter if you overseas or I'm a couple of blocks from you. Grind hard, get money, and the streets will honor you. Stay away from beef, cause the streets will swallow you. Focus on getting money, so I do what I gotta do. If they ain't stopping your paper, homie, don't let them bother you. Spitting heavenly flows, don't be jealous, it's not in you. Just know I'm laid back, but bring the smoke like a barbecue.
Y es que tengo el talento, pana, tengo el don. No voy a frenar que yo quiero un millón. Canto pa' buscar mi también por pasión. Aquí no hacemos fe, rapper de corazón. Y es que tengo el talento, pana, tengo el don. No voy a frenar que yo quiero un millón. Canto pa' buscar mi también por pasión. Aquí no hacemos fe, rapper de corazón. Soy la manteca, la grasa, la cara del gueto en la casa. Como el fotel en su tiempo, yo soy la nueva amenaza. Yo estoy claro de tu desma, y entonces ¿por qué te disfraza? Con esa sonrisa payasa, que tú eres un caldero sin asa. Tenemos a falta los machetes, pero tan escasa la gasa. No me hables de dame, que yo la cojo. Son raperos netos y yo lo noto flojo. Tírale el beat que ya tienen el bajo. Uno por uno con todo yo me fajo. Más que vengan todos, con todo yo me fajo. Yo mismo me temo de frente al espejo. Demasiada cotorra pa' todos estos pendejos. Quieren compararse, yo no me asemejo. Mi humildad no la vendo, no tengo complejo. Bendecido por Dios, con él no me quejo. Gracias a mis hermanos, mi madre, mi pero vamos lejos. Porque hoy estamos aquí, pero vamos lejos.
Yo siempre me busco, ustedes lo ven. Flow Balenciaga con Calvin Klein. Cambié Camaro por Mercedes-Benz. Yo siempre ando clean, ustedes lo ven. Y dale, ven, ven, ven. Vaquea mi estilo, vaquea mi flow. De la romana soy el mejor. No me pueden llegar, todos son maricón. Que no estoy sonando aquí en RD, ajá. Pero yo sueno en el Bronx. A mí nadie me puede hablar de cuarto. A mí, yo he visto más de 1 millón. Yo no hago música por dinero, bro. Yo lo hago por pasión. Que tienen casa, tienen motores. Pero yo vivo en una mansión.
Rapper de ver, en mi bloque activo frío de nevera. Yo lo hago ATR, no tengo diquera. Dicen que no hay forma y le busco manera.
Rapper de ver, en mi bloque activo frío de nevera. Yo lo hago ATR, no tengo diquera. Dicen que no hay forma y le busco manera. No jodas conmigo porque fácilmente yo puedo sacarte mi fuerte. En la calle yo ando al garete. Respeto al que respete. Tu chores me tira pa' que yo la rape, pero yo no quiero expediente. Yo, puesto pa' los míos anda en cash. Solo Dios me puede parar. No voy a dejar de luchar hasta que algún día yo lo pueda lograr.
1 million quiero mi cuenta en cero. Botando vapor por la boca pa' abrir la mujer. Pobre yo no muero, no puedo mi mente en dinero. Mientras siga vivo botando vapor, pa' que el mismo diablo sienta la calor. Si corono se me mete un almorol. Compro una babacara que ilumine como el sol. Color, así como lo hacemos. I am black, demostramos como negro. UCRD, una sola red. La dejamos pista, no la quiere ver. Lo tengo chocando de la pared. El único huevo que yo voy a poner es cuando me meta la mala no me puedan ver. Soy una adicción como el café.
Y es que tengo el talento, pana, tengo el don. No voy a frenar que yo quiero 1 millón. Hasta pa' buscar mi también por pasión. Aquí no hacemos fe, rapper de corazón. Y es que tengo el talento, pana, tengo el don. No voy a frenar que yo quiero 1 millón. Hasta pa' buscar mi también por pasión. Aquí no hacemos fe, rapper de corazón. JJ, guay, la cara del gueto. KB Master, USA, NDR, Novacane, versátil,
El de la cotorra.
mini bloque 13.0.
The best is true.
Ya, MP, Uriel Melody, One Rap, Film, mi chelito estilo. Esto es el cruce represent, la mansión de los talentos. El CURD, no es más de ahí. Yao, el flaco sin copia, Flow Chacalaca, hasta el de producer.